rocking.
You like the other one too? I like it too. Yeah. You like them all?
I do.
Yeah. You know, Missy's mother had her at an early age. Her father deserted her when she was born. And her mom, because she was so ill-equipped to have a child, just handed her over to the grandparents. And then her step-grandfather left when she was 4, and she had bonded so closely with him. He was her father in her eyes. But he couldn't stand the drinking anymore of her grandmother. And then her grandmother tells her, it's your fault at 4 years old. It's your fault that your grandfather leaves. And then her grandmother sinks herself into alcoholic stupors and tries many times to commit suicide, and was finally successful. And then in her late teens and early 20s, Missy discovered alcohol and the escape that you can have in alcohol. She started experiencing blackouts. Then there was Vital. His father sexually abused him and his brother and sister. When his father did leave, his mother would send him and his siblings out into the street so that she could give her body for money. So he and his siblings were taken by social services and put into an orphanage. And Vital was destined for gangs and a violent death. Those are 2 of the stories I heard yesterday morning from 2 highly evolved, spiritually conscious adults. I know that many of you have a story. You have overcome some great trials and tribulations in your childhood and beyond into your adulthood. And yet here you are. You have overcome. You have become heroes. Just like those heroes that we have as children in our fairy tales, the mythology of the Greeks and the Romans. You know, Cinderella, Jack and the Beanstalk. Let me see, who else? Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty. Give me another one. Anyone you followed? Ulysses? Huh?
Hansel and Gretel.
Hansel and Gretel. Bambi. All overcomings, aren't they? All on a hero's journey. And in each situation, you have a choice, don't you? You can succumb and you can let it take you down, or you can move through it. You can say, oh, my God, you have handed me such a dreadful hand of cards, dealt me such a dreadful, I'll get this right. My God, you have dealt me such a dreadful hand. And the thing is, you have moved through that. And you've made a choice at every step. Excuse me. That will help. And think back, what have you overcome in your life? I mean, and were you like me in high school, we were tracked. We were either college entrants or we were vocational. I don't know if they still do that. And that tracking was based on many factors. One of them was the standardized tests you take every year. I think some had to do with where you lived, what part of town, what your socioeconomic background was. And if you were college entrants, the boys and the girls, they were together. However, if you were vocational, then the girls did what? They did secretarial, home ec, and the boys did shop and auto mechanics. And they didn't really allow much crossover. And it's fascinating that they would do that. I mean, what does it matter? Think about it in your lifetime. How much does it really matter what your academic standing is? How much does it really matter where you lived, where you were born and raised? How much does it matter your age or your sex, your race or ethnicity? I remember in graduate school, I was told that a woman could only achieve the level in society as her father or her husband. Yeah, she's gagging over there. These expectations, I mean, what does it matter? Truly. And now that I have an understanding of truth principles, I see that everything is open to us. Everything. I mean, it is an abundant universe, isn't it? Abundance. If we allow it. It's a choice. Again, every moment it's a choice. And one of the things that will get us through all these challenges that we've had, like Missy and Vital, is to have a clear vision of what we wanted. As Vital shared his story, it was, I knew there was something better for me. I was not going to stay in the streets. And he experienced even more challenges, and yet he overcame. So what is your vision? What is it that you're striving for? What is that overarching desire that is going to carry you through any challenge? Any challenge. What do we know about God? Because, all right, this is what I love. Something bad happens, well, what we perceive as bad, if there's suffering, what is the common expression? It's God's will. You know what I think about that. And when something good happens, they don't say, when life is fun and wonderful and you're feeling abundant and thriving, does anybody ever say that's God's will? Do you ever hear that? What do you hear? Oh, it's only by God's grace that I have this. I wrote it down. Let me see. Hockey puck. Okay. That's stuff and nonsense. It really is. Because there are universal laws. Universal laws that say if you act in alignment with these laws, you will experience abundance. It doesn't mean you won't have trials and tribulations. All right, so please don't come back. Don't send me emails. Don't post on Facebook. It's how you handle it, how you connect with God, with universal principle. Remember in Genesis, it said that God created humankind in its own image. Remember that? It didn't say it created the birds in its own image. It didn't say it created the animals in its own image or the plants in its own image. It said it created humankind. Why do you think that is? Maybe because that is how God demonstrates itself in the world. I mean, do you know an artist except by its art? I mean, if you say, I'm an artist, and you produce nothing, how do we experience that you're an artist? The same for a writer. If you don't write your book, how do we know you're a writer? We are God demonstrating in the world. And how open are we? That's the question, you know. How large is our vision to allow God to express fully through us? You know, how much do you let yourself be limited? There was a frog, lived in the bottom of a well. For generations, this group of frogs had lived in the bottom of the well. There was plenty of food and water. They got along well with each other. And one day, one of the frogs started noticing that something was going on at the top of the well. I mean, there's light and there's dark. Oh, look, there's stars and moon and, I wonder what that is. It's flying. And finally, that frog got so curious. It decided, I have to go up there and check it out. So one day it said, okay, guys, I'm going to the top. And they said, oh, don't do that. You've got everything you want here. Why would you want to go up there? You don't know what's there. I said, I gotta try. And so he did. He just slowly climbed to the top. And we got up there, looked around, and this expanse. So he decided, I think I'll go in this direction. And he hopped along, and he came upon a small pond. He's like, I had no idea there could be this much water in one place, because it was so much more than what he had experienced at the bottom of the well. And then he noticed, there's a little rivulet. So the frog followed the rivulet. And he came to a lake. And then it stared out in amazement. I must be in heaven. And it started swimming in the lake, and then it came to a river flowing out of the lake, and it followed the river. And eventually the river emptied into the ocean. And the frog hopped to the top of a hill, and he looked out at this vast ocean. It was so enormous, the frog couldn't see to the other side. And it's like, I had no idea. And it was looking out onto this endless sea of possibility. And you know what happens is that frog, in leaving the bottom of the well, in closing its consciousness to this is good enough. Are you nuts? Why do you want to go up there? It was demonstrating what its name stood for. Frog, fully rely on God. And in fully relying upon God, that frog opened up for itself possibilities it did not know existed before. Has that ever happened to you?
Yes.
Just stepping out, leaving, the guys back at the bottom of the well. And that's what life is. It is unlimited possibility. And what's interesting about that unlimited possibility, as soon as you focus on one, then the others dissipate. Have you noticed that? It's like if you catch something out of the corner of your eye, ever have that happen? It's like, right? But you lose everything that was over here because you're focusing there. But remembering there is always this unlimited sea of possibilities. It was like the frog was hearing the Apostle Paul whispering in its ear, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind." Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. So don't get stuck in that bottom of the well thinking. God has more in store for you, and it's the old thinking at the bottom of the well that holds you back. Do we live in an abundant universe? Yes. All right. So how many times, think about it, do I set our standards, set our sights because of bottom of the well thinking? It's a comfort zone, isn't it? You know what it is. But don't worry about what you've done to this point. And don't think about what has come before, because you're more than that. In Isaiah, God instructs us to enlarge the size of your tent and let the curtains of your habitations be stretched out. Do not hold back. Lengthen your cords and strengthen your stakes. Enlarge your thinking. Stretch your imagination. Don't hold back, right? But be open to all of the possibilities. Expand your reach and sink your stake in the ground. This or something better. Okay, so a vision, a clear vision, a powerful vision, a vision for a more abundant life, a more joyous life, a vision for a more vibrant and healthy life. Does it sometimes get a little scary when you think about something really big? It's like, who am I? It's natural when we're ready to step out into something bigger than ourselves. Jesus said, "Do not be afraid, little flock, for your Father has been pleased to give you the kingdom." Do not be afraid, little flock, for your Father has been pleased to give you the kingdom. Do you hear that? Pleased. What a concept. To give you the kingdom. What is the kingdom? The kingdom is that higher consciousness. The kingdom is unlimited abundance in all things. It's God's good pleasure that you have it all. Does it make sense, if you are made in the image and likeness of God, that you should have it all? Isn't that what you want for your children? Of course you do. Of course you do. You know, in the Bible, God is called El Shaddai, God Almighty. You know, the God of more than enough. God is never called El Cheapo, the God of not enough. Never. You know, God has more in store for you. God wants to demonstrate through you. And the only thing limiting God is you and me. Remember, every time you have a limiting thought, you know, I can't, I shouldn't. Oh, my family wouldn't understand. You know, my family has never understood me. They love me anyway. That's what families are supposed to be about. Just love you anyway. You know, and don't ever get caught in that, oh, it's just the way it is. Ever happened to you? It's just the way it is. Yeah, and limiting, you know, your relationships to, I guess that's all I get. Limiting your abundance because, who am I? I'm no Donald Trump. That could be a bad or a good thing depending on your viewpoint. But what is it that you truly want? Yeah, I'm inviting you to really establish a powerful vision. Something that goes beyond what you're experiencing now. I don't care how old you are, how young you are. I mean, this is God's good pleasure. Embrace that. Missy and Vital are on a hero's journey. You are on a hero's journey. The hero is always guided, inspired, and transformed by the power of his and her vision. You got that? It's the vision that calls you, that draws you. It's not something that you're forcing yourself toward. As soon as you find yourself being forced, then that's not your vision. A vision is something beautiful. It's delicious. It's an experience that calls you. It draws you toward it. That's how you know it's a good vision. When you get up in the morning and you think, oh, wow, what would the person who already has experienced that vision be thinking right now? What would that person be saying right now? What would that person be doing right now? I think I told you last week ago, Saturday, on my birthday, I woke up at 6:15. Yes, I had a birthday. Yes, thank you. Don't you dare. So I wake up at 6:15. We didn't have St. Timothy's till 9 o'clock. I could have rolled over and slept in. It was my birthday. Thank you very much. And then that thought came to me. Oh, wait a minute. Here's my vision. What would the person who's already living that vision be thinking right now, saying right now, and doing? I got up because the person with my vision was going to get up and create a beautiful day. And that's what I did. Every moment. What would the person who's already in this situation, has already experienced my vision, what would that person be doing? Imagine meeting someone who is already doing what is your vision. And you talk to them. You think about, what would I say about that person? How would I describe that person? And then be that person. Because if it's your vision, then that's who you truly are. And so act in coherence with the universal law. Remember God's words to Joshua and the Israelites. You shall make your way prosperous, and then you shall be successful. Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened or dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you. So last month, I asked you to do one impossible thing a day. Remember that? Just one impossible thing a day. You get up, think, oh, I wonder what's impossible today. I think I'll do it. Then last Sunday, what did we ask you? Already forgot.
Be outrageous.
Be outrageous. Do one outrageous thing every day. That you didn't remember tells me something. So today, I invite you to get out of your well, to expand your tent, to lengthen your cords, to strengthen your stake by naming it, claiming it, and one more, do it now. Do it now. Let's take that into meditation now. And I invite you to sit back and close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. Breathing deeply 3 times, just to clear your energy and allow that holy presence. And just imagine as you inhale deeply that you're inhaling the light and the love of God, and image it flowing through every cell and tissue of your body. Raising your vibration, raising your energy. And inhale that healing power of God. And allow that to flow also through every cell and tissue of your body. And where there might be some dis-ease, image that healing love and power is restoring you to wholeness. And again, breathing in, and any disquieting thoughts, just turn any worries over to God. Allow God to be your caregiver. And continuing to breathe deeply. Remembering Jesus' words. Your Father has been pleased to give you the kingdom. What is that kingdom for you? What is your vision? How is God yearning to express through you? Yeah, it might be a garden. It might be a brand new venture in business. Perhaps your vision of God demonstrating through you is simply being a more loving presence in this world. So bring any doubts you might have, any fears. Bring them to mind. And bless them. Say thank you, but I no longer need you. I'm letting go. I'm letting God. And release. It's God's job, not yours. Remember our frog, fully rely on God. What is your vision for yourself? What is that impossible, outrageous thing that you would like to do? Do you want to write a book? Publish an album? Go on an adventure abroad or in your backyard? What is your vision? Is your vision to be vitally healthy and play with your grandchildren? What is your vision? And allow yourself to think big. Be expansive. Widen your tent. Know that as you expanded your tent, that you have made room for God to work in and through you. God is your partner. God is your support. God is your source. So allow that power and presence to fill your entire being and experience that transformation. You are light, you are love. You are spirit expressing in this human form. And you are evolving, growing, vibrating closer and closer to the spirit that you truly are. So embrace your vision. Embrace it in love. Embrace it in the knowing that as you rely on God, as you embrace the universal principles that govern our lives, you are tapping into resources that you don't even know exist, but are waiting to rush to you. Name it, claim it, proclaim it, and do it now. Start it now. Anything that has come before is simply the past. Put your stake in the ground. And with your vision, this or something better, as you go forward this week, in every moment, ask yourself, what would the person who already has achieved this vision be thinking, saying, doing? And be that vision. You're the light of the world. Do not hide your light under a bushel. Let that light shine. And let us do that right now as we return to this time and this place. Let your light shine. Radiate your love. Bless everyone within these sanctuary walls. And bless our children and their teachers. Because we are powerful spiritual beings going out to bless this beautiful Las Vegas community, this spirit city. And as we expand out with this powerful consciousness, blessing our nation, and then going beyond any man-made boundaries, blessing our world. Where there is darkness, fear, hatred, let us shine our light and radiate our love. And know that in this moment you have touched someone that you will never meet. And through your light and your love, you have offered them light. You have given them the power of love. And drawing that forth from them, know that their lives are transformed forever. That's how powerful you are. And thus we transform the world one thought, one word, one action at a time. And let us solidify that power and presence with the words of our way shower, Jesus the Christ, who taught us how to pray.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Hallowed be thy name. Done on earth as it is in heaven. Hallowed be thy name. Give us this day our daily bread. Hallowed be thy name. And forgive all our debts. Hallowed be thy name. As we forgive our debtors. Hallowed be thy name. Leave us not into temptation. Hallowed be